That's fine. So you're oh, yeah. Tickets and all that. I don't see them. Yeah, I can see them here. So that's why I just let them okay. That's exactly right. So we're going to drag so I stop running out here. And so we'll do that adjustment. It looks like we might be ready.
So how's the family? How's the dog? Oh, the other one. Oh, yes.
So this guy's in panic, and the priest says, I'm helping myself. Please help me, Father. I stand I committed sacrilegious. And the priest, who's new to the parish, goes, oh my God. Well, buddy, can you just wait here? I'll be right back. So he's in the back, flags down one of the altar's to me. What does Father Simon usually give for sodomy? Timmy goes, usually it's a couple of Tootsie Rolls. Oh, one. And a cute rich Good evening and welcome to Chapel Street, players. Today you are lucky to be part of our live studio audience for a radio broadcast of It's a Wonderful Life. Before we go on the air, we wanted to go over a few things so that our radio audience isn't distracted by sounds from the audience. This radio broadcast takes place in the 1940s. During this time, all phones had cords attached to walls. We've heard about those phones that you can now carry around with you. Please silence all of those. Another item that makes noise is candy wrappers. Those. We know that some of you out there have candy right now in your pockets. Please open it now, so you won't distract people around you. Okay, enough about candy wrapper noise. There is a handicapped bathroom to my left, your right. That wasn't even close to the right sound. Anyway, there's also bathrooms located in the lower level, and if you need to use a restroom during the show, we recommend that you use those, because if you use this one, we can hear everything that's going on in there. That's gross even for 1940. Moving on, how about you let me handle the discussion of exits? Now, let me mention exits. In the unlikely event that the theater is overtaken by a pod of seals, I heard of it. A herd of elephants, or a troop of impersonators. Oh, I used to be as pure as a driven snow, but I drifted. Norman, the loons. Has anyone seen my co-star, Donna Reed? If that happens, you should proceed to the nearest exit, which will be the way you came in, this way, to your right, or via the stage, but that one will be blocked by screaming actors. Ah! He's not even an actor. Don't forget that all of Chapel Street is run by volunteers. I'm not even getting paid. So let's honor our volunteers who were not mentioned in the program tonight. Our ushers tonight are Marilyn Goldberg and Basha McCrum. Our hospitality folks are Don and Charlotte Short and Renee O'Leary. In the box office, Galen Keane and Judy David. And our board member, that's B-O-A-R-D member, is Michelle Cullen. Thank you, volunteers. If you want to be on Chapel Street's mailing list, then sign up in the lobby on a device called an iPad. There will be one 15-minute intermission, or 20 minutes, depending on how fast you move, and we will be selling soda pop, water, and snacks in the lower level. Now tonight, we're doing things a little bit differently tonight. After the show, you are invited to come up on the stage. He doesn't know that I work alone. Come up on the stage afterwards to meet the actors, see the sound effects, tell this noisy person to shut up, intermingle with our folks, see the set, have your photos taken, do a selfie, put yourself on Facebook, Twitter, and all those things that haven't been invented yet. Please do so. Don't be shy. Come on up. Just watch your step as you come up. Also, it's not too late to be a subscriber. There are brochures available in the lobby. They look like this, except it's not folded in half. If you want to get the rest of our season, the 2 shows remaining at a discount, plus other benefits by being a subscriber, be sure to save your ticket from this performance, and you can send that in with your brochure, the subscription request, and you'll get the price of the ticket off on your subscription price. 1 ticket per subscription is allowed. And also, tonight we'll be singing some Christmas carols. You are invited to sing along. I hope you will. The lyrics for all of the Christmas carols are in your program. I will be giving you a little history, whether you want to hear it or not, about each carol. It's short, it's brief, it's concise. So with all of that out of the way, we would like to get you in the mood with a song. We're going to start off with Jingle Bells, which is one of the best known and commonly sung American Christmas songs in the world. It was written by James Lord Pierpont and published under the title One Horse Open Sleigh in the autumn of 1857. Renee O'Leary was there for that premiere. Even though, sorry Renee, you know I love you. Even though it is now associated with Christmas and the holiday season, it was actually written to be sung for American Thanksgiving. Jingle Bells was often used as a drinking song at parties. People would jingle the ice in their glasses as they sang. Scott does that all the time. You can find the words to this song in your program, as I said, and I think we're ready to start. Maestro.
Through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh, o'er the fields we go, laughing all the way. Bells on bobtails ring, making spirits bright. What fun it is to ride and sing a sleighing song tonight. Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey! Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh.
Well done. Thank you very much. Give yourselves a round of applause. We'll be doing more later, so save your voices. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please. We're on the air in 5, 4, 3.
I owe everything to George Bailey. Help him, dear Father.
Giuseppe, Jesus, and Mary, help my friend, Mr. Bailey.
Help my son George tonight.
He never thinks about himself, God. That's why he's in trouble.
Oh, George is a good guy. Give him a break, God.
I love him, dear Lord. Watch over him tonight.
Please, God, something's the matter with Daddy.
Please bring Daddy back.
Lux presents Hollywood. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight we bring you one of the season's most inspiring hits, It's a Wonderful Life. This is the story of a typical American. He might be you, he might be me. Our story starts before the war, when life was normal, shortages were generally unknown, and the simple luxuries like Lux soap were abundant. I won't say that's the only reason people said, It's a Wonderful Life, but I do know from the thousands of letters in our files that most of them said, It's a wonderful soap, and they keep right on saying it day after day. In fact, the popularity of Lux soap is what makes it possible to present such great entertainment as Frank Capra's It's a Wonderful Life.
Oh, I'm so sorry to interrupt, but see if you can tell the difference between these two sounds. Yes, one's short and one's long, but that's not all. Listen again, carefully. That's right. The second one lasted 3 times longer than the first. Now that's exactly what can happen to your undies. Sorry, delicates. If you wash them the wrong way, they soon look old and drab, but if you use Lux Flakes, they can stay lovely, 3 times as long. Quite a difference, isn't there? But it's true. Oh, actual washing tests proved it. Now, we purposely wash pretty slips and nighties the wrong way, you know, with strong soap and too hot water. Oh, you should have seen them after 30 washings of that kind. Half their color was gone, and some of the straps and seams were frayed and pulled apart. But then we washed the same kind of delicates in gentle, lukewarm Lux Flakes, and they came out beautifully. Still colorful and lovely and new-looking. Now, I know you don't want to ruin perfectly good undies, delicates, proving to yourself what wrong washing can do. So, take it from me. Don't risk your undies with soaps that are strong. Lux keeps them new-looking 3 times as long.
That is very interesting. Thank you, Betty. Now, back to our story. This is the story of George Bailey, citizen of Bedford Falls, New York. George Bailey, who more than anything under the sun wanted to see the world, the wonderful, exciting world that lay somewhere beyond the limits of his hometown. Oddly enough, this story does not begin in Bedford Falls. In fact, it doesn't begin anywhere in the world. It begins in heaven, where the superintendent of angels had just summoned an apprentice angel named Clarence. It's Christmas Eve.
I'm really going down to earth, sir. How splendid!
Yes, there's a very discouraged man down there, Clarence. George Bailey. At exactly 10:45 p.m. Earth time, he'll be thinking seriously of ending his life.
Oh dear, dear, his life!
I want you to stop it, if you can. Now, sit down. Sit down. I'll give you George Bailey's case history.
Sir, if I should accomplish this mission, may I perhaps get my wings? It's been over 200 years now and, well, people are beginning to talk.
Clarence, what's that book?
Oh, The Adventures of Tom Sawyer, sir. I was reading it when you sent for me.
Fine book. Excellent. Well, you do a good job on George Bailey, and we'll see about your wings.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Now listen, when George Bailey was a boy, 2 events occurred which you should keep in mind. One was when his younger brother, Harry, fell through the ice and almost drowned. George saved him.
Brother fell through ice. George saved him. Got it.
Ever since, George had a bad ear. All that icy water, you understand.
Bad ear. Yes, sir.
The other event came a few months later. George used to work after school in Mr. Gower's drugstore.
Wish I had $1 million. Hot dog!
You're late.
Yes, sir.
Hello, Georgie. Hello, Mary. Hello, Violet.
Hello, Violet. 2 cents worth of shoelaces?
She was here first. I'm still thinking.
Shoelaces?
Please, Georgie. I like him. You like every boy. What's wrong with that?
Here you are.
Thank you, Georgie.
Made up your mind yet?
I'll take chocolate.
With coconuts?
I don't like coconuts.
You don't like coconuts? Say, brainless, don't you know where coconuts come from? From Tahiti, the Fiji Islands, the Coral Sea.
George, you are not paid to be canary.
Is this the ear you can't hear on? George Bailey, I love you to the day I die.
Coming, sir. I'm going out exploring someday. You watch. I'm going to have a couple of harems and maybe 3 or 4 wives. Wait and see.
Why, that's lovely, sir. Now, what happened to George and Mary? And why is Mr. Gower so upset?
Clarence, that day Mr. Gower's only son died of influenza. It was a terrible blow, and Mr. Gower tried to lose his grief in whiskey.
George! Mrs. Blaine's called twice. What happened to her prescription? You lost it, didn't you?
No, Mr. Gower. Here it is.
Why, you good for nothing!
Oh,
Don't you know that Plain girl's very sick?
Mr. Gower, my ear. You're hurting my sore ear.
I'll teach you to loaf, you lazy brat!
Oh, Mr. Gower, you don't know what you're doing. You put something wrong in those capsules.
Shut up!
I know you feel bad, but look, Mr. Gower, this bottle. Use this bottle to make up the capsules. It's poison.
Poison?
Don't hurt my sore ear again.
Poison? Oh, God. Oh, George.
That's why I didn't deliver him, Mr. Gower.
I'm so sorry, George.
Mr. Gower, I won't ever tell anyone. I won't ever tell a soul. Hope to die I won't.
Oh, George, my boy.
Well, Clarence, that was George Bailey as a boy. When he grew up, he wanted to go to college, but there just wasn't the money. So he worked 4 years in the Building and Loan Association.
The Building and Loan Association?
I forgot to tell you, George's father was in the building and loan business. He and George's Uncle Billy. High ideals and low bank account. Anyway, George worked for his father and saved enough to see him through the university. That summer, he was going to Europe, got a job on a cattle boat, do a little traveling before college.
Boy, oh boy, sure hard to realize it. My last meal in a Bailey boarding house.
We're gonna miss you, George.
Well, I'm gonna miss you too, Pop. Pop, what's the matter? You look tired.
Oh, I had another tussle with old Henry Potter today.
Well, I thought when you put him on the board of directors, he'd ease up.
Yeah, so did I.
Yeah, I can't understand a man like Mr. Potter. Well, he can't begin to spend all the money he has.
I guess Potter owns about everything he wants in Bedford Falls, except our building and loan. And that's why he hates us.
Hey, George,
Can I borrow your tuxedo studs?
Well, help yourself, Harry.
Where are they? In your suitcase?
Oh, I'm not taking a tuxedo on a cattle boat, you know.
Say, where'd you get that suitcase anyhow?
Oh, Mr. Gower, a going-away present. You know, one of these days, you're going to see that suitcase all covered with travel labels. Italy, Baghdad, Samarkand.
Yeah, you're going to have a pretty full summer.
Well, I'm going to have a pretty full life.
Hey, why don't you come to the dance tonight?
What, be bored to death?
Couldn't want a better death. Lots of pretty girls. Say, I gotta hurry.
You know, I wish I could send Harry to college with you, George.
Oh, we have it all figured out. Well, he'll take my job at the building and loan, work 4 years like I did, and then he'll go.
Oh, he's pretty young for that job.
Well, no younger than I was.
Maybe you were born older, George. George, when you get out of college, I don't suppose you'd come back to the building and loan.
Well, Pop, I just couldn't. No, I couldn't face being cooped up the rest of my life in a shabby little office. No, I'm sorry, Pop. I didn't mean it. It's just that this business of nickels and dimes, why go crazy? I want to do something big and important.
You know, in a small way, we are doing something important. In that shabby little office, we help people figure out how they can own their own homes.
Well, I know, Dad. I wish I felt... Well, I just feel like if I didn't get away, I'd bust.
Ah, you're right, boy. You get yourself an education, then you get out of here.
Pop, you want a shock? Well, I think you're a pretty great guy.
Well, thanks, George. I'm glad to hear it. Look, why don't you go over to Harry's dance? You have a good time.
Well, maybe I'll drop in. Maybe I will at that.
So George Bailey went to a dance.
I danced with a girl with a hole in the stocking, and the heels kept a knocking, and the toes kept a rocking. I danced with a girl with a hole in the stocking, and we danced by the light of the moon. Buffalo gals, won't you come out tonight, come out tonight, come out tonight. Buffalo gals, won't you come out tonight and dance by the light of the moon.
Is that significant, Joseph?
It was at that dance that he saw Mary Hatch again. You remember.
Oh, from the drugstore.
And 3 hours later, he was walking her home. George and Mary were feeling pretty good. As a matter of fact, wonderful.
Buffalo gals, can't you come out tonight? Come out tonight, come out tonight. Buffalo gals, can't you come out tonight and dance by the light of the moon? Hot dog, just like an organ.
At least.
You know something? If it wasn't me talking, I'd say you were the prettiest girl in town.
Well, why don't you say it?
I don't know. Maybe I will say it. Well, how old are you anyway?
18?
18? Why, only last year you were 17.
Too young or too old?
No, just right. Sort of fits you. Well, look where we are.
Oh, the old Granville house.
Well, I've got to throw a rock.
Oh, no, don't. I love that old house.
Well, don't you know about deserted houses? You make a wish and you throw a rock.
George. But it's such a lovely place. I wish I lived there.
Oh, in there? Well, I wouldn't live in there as a ghost. Watch this. Here we go. Oh, how about that? I broke a window.
What'd you wish, George?
Oh, I don't know. A whole hatful, Mary. You know, I'm shaking the dust of this crummy little town off my feet, and I'm going to see the world. Italy, Greece, the Parthenon, the Colosseum. Well, then I'm going to college and see what they know, and then I'm going to build things. I'm going to build airfields. I'm going to build skyscrapers 1 million stories high. I'm going to build bridges 1 mile long, and are you going to throw a rock? Hey, that's pretty good. Well, what'd you wish, Mary?
Buffalo gals, can't you come out tonight?
Come out tonight, come out tonight. Buffalo gals, won't you come out tonight and dance by the light of the moon? What'd you wish for, Mary?
Oh, no. If I told you, it might not come true.
Well, what is it you want, Mary? What do you want? Do you want the moon? Well, just say the word and I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down.
I'll take it. And then what?
Well, then you could swallow it and it all dissolves, see? And like an aspirin. And then the moonbeams, they'd shoot out of your fingers and your toes and the ends of your hair. And am I talking too much?
Why don't you kiss her instead of talking her to death?
How's that?
Why don't you kiss her instead of talking her to death?
You want me to kiss her, huh?
Ah, youth is wasted on the wrong people.
Well, hey, mister, just a minute. Well, come back. I'll show you some kisses that'll just knock your...
George!
Why, Uncle Billy? Oh, watch me, I'm gonna kiss Mary.
George, come with me quick. Your father's had a stroke.
My father's had a stroke.
George, please, hurry, hurry.
Well, Clarence, George's father died that night. So, of course, George couldn't go to Europe. But that fall, just as he was ready to leave for college, the directors of the building and loan had a meeting. They were going to appoint a successor to Mr. Bailey.
Let's dissolve the building and loan.
What's that you said, Mr. Potter?
I said as long as Peter Bailey is dead, let's dissolve the building and loan. We don't need it.
Now, wait a minute.
No, you wait a minute. Peter Bailey was not a businessman. That's what killed him. Ideals without common sense can ruin a town. Now you take this loan to this Ernie Bishop, that fellow who sits around all day on his brains in his taxi. Every bank turned down his loan. Oh, but he comes here and we're building him a house worth $5,000. Why?
Well, I handled that loan, Mr. Potter. Well, you have all the papers, his salary, his insurance. Well, I can personally vouch for his character.
Oh, I see. If you shoot pool with some employee here, you can come and borrow money. Well, what does that get us? A discontented, lazy rabble instead of a thrifty working class.
Now, hold on, Mr. Potter.
Oh, I meant no disrespect, George.
Now, wait a minute here. Now, why my father ever started this cheap penny-ante building and loan, I'll never know. But just remember this, Mr. Potter. This rabble you're talking about, well, they do most of the working and the paying and the living and dying in this community. Well, is it too much to have them work and pay and live and die in a couple of decent rooms and a bath? Well, anyway, my father didn't think so. Well, people were human beings to him. But to you, a warped, frustrated old man, well, they're cattle. Well, in my book, Mr. Potter, he died a much richer man than you'll ever be.
I am not interested in your book, George. I am talking about the building and loan.
Well, you're talking about something you can't get your fingers on and it's galling you. Well, that's what you're talking about. Well, this town needs this measly one-horse institution, if only to have some place where people can borrow a few dollars without having to go crawling to you. But come on, Uncle Billy.
What happened, George?
Yeah, all we heard was a lot of yelling. Boy, oh boy, you should have heard George.
Yeah, they're in there voting us out of business.
Who cares? I can get another job. I'm only 41.
45. Will you get out of here, George? You missed your boat trip. You want to miss college, too?
Yeah. George, we've just voted Potter down. We're still in business.
Yippee! We're still in business.
But there's one condition, George. They appointed you to take your father's place.
Appointed me? Oh, but I'm going to college. It's my last chance. Well, Uncle Billy, he's your man.
George, you've got to take it. They'll vote with Potter otherwise.
I know. George Bailey didn't go to college.
That's right, Clarence. He gave his college money to Harry. Harry went instead.
But what happened to that good-looking girl? You know, Mary?
Oh, George saw her now and then. Not very often, though, because Mary went away to school, too. Anyway, George got 4 years older waiting for Harry to come back and take over the building and loan. Except when Harry came home, he wasn't alone. There was a girl with him, his wife, and her father offered Harry a job.
George, look, about that job, I never said I'd take it. You've been holding the bag here for 4 years, and look, I won't let you down. Come on, George, Mom made apple pie.
Sure, Harry. In a minute.
George!
Out here on the porch, Mom. I just thought I'd get some fresh air.
Well, how do you like your new sister-in-law?
Oh, she's swell.
Looks like she can keep Harry on his toes.
Well, keep him out of Bedford Falls anyway.
Her father owns a factory in Buffalo. Wants to get Harry started in the research business.
I guess they're really in love.
George, did you know that Mary Hatch is back from school?
Uh-huh.
Nice girl, Mary.
Uh-huh.
Kind that will help you find the answers, George.
Uh-huh.
Oh, stop grunting and give me one good reason why you shouldn't call Mary.
Sam Wainwright. Sam's crazy about Mary.
Well, she's not crazy about him.
How do you know? Did she discuss it with you?
No, but she lights up like a firefly whenever you're around. Besides, Sam's away in New York.
And all's fair in love and war? You know, Mother, I can see right through you. Right to your back collar button. Trying to get rid of me, huh?
Uh-huh.
Well, here's your hat, and what's your hurry? You know, I think I'll go find the girl and do a little passionate necking. Hello, Violet.
Hi, Georgie Porgy. Hey, I think I got a date. But stick around, fellas, just in case.
Hey, you look good. What's some dress you got on there?
Oh, this old thing? Why, I only wear it when I don't care how I look.
All right, move along.
Take it easy, Bert. I just thought Violet might need a cab.
Ernie, I've got to be getting home. I'm off duty now. Think I'll see what the wife is doing.
Oh, family man, huh? Yeah, me too. You gonna be okay, George?
Oh, sure.
Say, what gives?
Oh, nothing.
Where you going?
Oh, I'll probably end up down at the library.
Georgie, don't you ever get tired of just reading about things?
Well, yes. Well, what are you doing tonight?
Not a thing.
Well, are you game, Vi? Let's make a night of it.
Oh, I'd love it, Georgie. Where'll we go?
Well, let's go out in the fields and we'll take off our shoes and walk through the grass.
Huh?
Well, then we can go up to the falls. It's beautiful up there in the moonlight. And there's a green pool up there and we can swim in it. And then we can climb Mount Bedford and smell the pines and watch the sunrise against the peaks. And we'll stay up there the whole night. And everybody will be talking and there'll be a terrific
George, have you gone crazy? Walk up in the grass in my bare feet? Why, it's 10 miles up to Mount Bedford.
Okay, just forget about the whole thing.
George, is that you out there?
Oh, hello, Mary.
Well, are you coming in?
I just happened to be passing by.
Oh, I thought you were picketing. Have you made up your mind?
How's that?
Have you made up your mind?
About what?
About coming in. Your mother just phoned. She said you were coming over.
My mother? Well, what did she mean? Well, how did she know? Well, I just happened to be passing by.
Well?
Oh, I'll come in for a minute. But I didn't tell anybody I was coming here. Well, can't I take a walk without and when did you get back?
Tuesday.
Oh, well, where'd you get that dress?
Do you like it?
Well, it's all right.
Well, no point standing on the porch. Come on in.
You know, I still can't understand it. I didn't tell anybody I was coming here, you know?
Would you rather leave?
Oh, I don't want to be rude. I'll sit down for a while.
It's nice about your brother and Ruth, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, it's all right.
Don't you like her?
Well, of course I do. She's a peach.
Oh, just marriage in general you're not enthusiastic about.
No, marriage is all right for a lot of people. For Harry, for Sam Wainwright, and you too.
For Sam and me? Mary! Who's down there with you? It's George Bailey, Mother.
George Bailey. Oh, well, what does he want?
I don't know. What do you want?
Well, not a thing. I just came in to get warm.
He's making violent love to me, Mother.
You just tell him to go right back home. Sam said he called you tonight from New York, didn't he?
I guess so. How about some music? Come out tonight. Buffalo Gals, won't you come out tonight? Dance my way.
Huh? Well, you know, your mother needn't, well, I didn't come here to...
What did you come here for then?
Well, I don't know. You're supposed to be the one with all the answers. You tell me.
Oh, why don't you just go home?
Well, I don't know why I came here in the first place.
Good night. Mary, telephone. Mary.
You know, the way you're shouting, you'd think that...
Mary!
You think what?
Mary!
All right! I'll get it. George, on your way out, would you mind turning off the phonograph?
Well, I'd be happy to. Doggone crazy song.
Hello, Sam.
Mary, gee, it's good to hear your voice.
How are you, Sam?
Forgot my hat.
Yeehaw.
What?
I was just talking to an old friend of yours, George Bailey.
Oh, old Mossback George?
Old Mossback George.
Hey, well, put him on. I'll talk to him, too.
Wait a second, George.
He doesn't want to speak to George.
He does so. He asked for him.
Did you call me? Because if you did, I'm in a hurry and...
Sam wants to talk to you.
Oh, well, hi, Sam.
Hey, fine pal you are trying to steal my girl.
What do you mean? Well, nobody's trying to steal anybody's girl. Well, here's Mary.
No, wait. I want to speak to both of you. Tell Mary to get on the extension upstairs.
Well, he says get on the extension.
I can't. Mother's on the extension.
I am not.
We can both hear. George, just put your head a little closer.
Huh?
That's better. We're listening, Sam.
Well, I have a big deal coming up that's going to make us all rich. George, you remember that time you told me about making plastics out of soybeans?
Soybeans. Yeah, soybeans.
Well, my father's checked into it, George. See, and now he's going to put up a factory. How do you like that?
Oh, a factory, huh?
Oh, and here's the point, George. I may have a job for you unless you're still married to that broken down building alone. This is the biggest thing since radio, and I'm letting you into the ground floor. Mary?
I'm here.
You tell that guy I'm giving him the chance of a lifetime. Do you hear?
He says it's the chance of a lifetime.
Well, give me that phone.
Here's George again, Sam. George!
Well, now you listen to me, Mary. I don't want any plastic. I don't want any ground floors, and I don't want to get married ever to anyone. Did you understand that?
George!
I want to do what I want to do, and you're not going to trick me. Well, you're not going to tell Mary.
George!
Mary, well, darling, I love you.
Well. So George Bailey and Mary Hatch were...
Yes, George and Mary were married. And they started off on their honeymoon in Ernie Bishop's taxi cab.
Hey, so where are you two going on this here honeymoon?
Oh, we're going to shoot the works, Ernie. A whole week in New York, a whole week in Bermuda, well, the highest hotel, the oldest champagne, and the hottest music, and the prettiest wife.
So you're finally getting out of Bedford Falls, huh? Well, then what?
After that, who cares?
What doesn't? You know, Mrs. Bailey, I haven't kissed you since...
Hey, George! There's something funny going on over there at the bank. It looks like a run.
Well, hey, pull over, Ernie.
George, let's not stop. Please, let's go straight to the station.
Well, I better see what's going on. I'll be right back.
George, please. George!
In a few moments, we'll return to It's a Wonderful Life. Meanwhile, here's our Hollywood reporter, Libby Collins, looking very smart, too, may I say.
Thank you, Mr. Keeley. You know, after seeing Paulette Goddard's wardrobe for Paramount's new comedy, Suddenly in Spring, I just had to rush out and buy something new. Looking at all those beautiful clothes was just too much for my self-control.
And you look charming, Libby.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Keeley.
Men seldom know much about styles. What I notice about a dress is the general effect when a woman wears it. Some girls always seem to have that right on the beam look. You know what I mean?
Well, I think what you had in mind, Mr. Keeley, is good grooming. Screen stars certainly put great emphasis on it. Perfect hairdo, fresh, beautifully cared for skin. Those are essentials.
That must be the reason Lux toilet soap continues to be a studio standby, no matter how often other styles change.
That's what Miss Goddard told me. She says her beauty facials are so quick and so easy and work so well, she's never without a supply of Lux toilet soap. I can depend on it for daily complexion care, she said.
I wish you'd tell the ladies in our audience how easy those Lux soap facials are, Libby.
Well, here's what Paulette Goddard says. I cover my face with the fragrant Lux soap, lather, and work it well in. I rinse with warm water, then cold, and use a soft towel to pat my skin dry. Gives skin quick new beauty, she says.
Daily Lux soap facials do make skin lovelier. Recent tests by skin specialists proved it. In 3 out of 4 cases, complexions became softer and smoother in just a short time.
A lovely Lux complexion makes a woman so attractive. I wish every girl who hasn't tried Lux toilet soap would begin using it tomorrow.
That's sound advice, Libby. When 9 out of 10 screen stars recommend a beauty soap, you know it has to be good. So why not try Lux toilet soap, Hollywood's own complexion soap? We pause now for station identification.
This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Before we move on to the next exciting portion of It's a Wonderful Life, we wanted to introduce a special guest. We asked Chapel Street players to lend us their stage doorman. Of course, her particular stage door is the most glamorous of all. Through it have passed so many great stars, from Renee O'Leary to Scott F. Mason. So much a part of Chapel Street has its doorman become that the theater is her middle name. From Newark, Delaware, we now present the stage doorman of the Chapel Street Theater, Miss Georgina Chapel Street Pierce.
Thank you, Mr. Keeley. I suppose some of you are wondering just what the stage doorman does. Well, I'm a combination policeman, security, cook, mother, confessor, and banker. It depends, of course, on who's playing in the theater. Take English actors, for instance. They like their tea on matinee performances, while American actors like to eat dinner in their dressing rooms between matinee and evening performances. Incidentally, when we have a play opening in the theater in which Renee O'Leary does not appear, she sends a wire with my best wishes for my opening. With Scott F. Mason in the theater, you've got to be a banker, because Mr. F. Mason doesn't carry any money in his pockets. He'll come in rushing into the theater, toss his hat into the fire bucket, have his coat and tie off by the time he gets into his dressing room door. He'll stop quick and come back where I'm sitting and say, "Georgina, I owe you 60 cents. And then he pays me. These are the kind of things that makes a stage doorman's life worth living. Thank you, Mr. Keeley, and good luck to the Lux Radio Theater.
Thank you, Miss Pierce. And now we proceed to the next part of It's a Wonderful Life. We're back in heaven again, where Clarence is very eager to depart on his mission to Earth.
Poor George Bailey. Oh, he's certainly in desperate trouble, Joseph. I'll go to him at once.
Sit down, Clarence. We're nowhere near the point where George Bailey is thinking of taking his life.
We're not?
Now, where were we? Oh yes. George and Mary had just started out on their honeymoon when they ran smack into the financial panic of 1932. In the waiting room of the building alone, 100 frantic people were clamoring for their savior.
You know, I'm really worried about my son.
What's going on, little Billy? What happened? All those people out there.
This is a pickle, George. All I know is the bank called in our loan an hour ago. I had to hand over all the cash.
Holy mackerel.
And then I got scared, George. I got scared. Whole town's gone crazy. Bank's in the same spot we are. And, hey, was it a nice wedding, George? Gosh, I wanted to be there.
Well, what about our charter?
Our charter? Well, Potter called and said if we close before 6 p.m., the state can take away our license. But how can we stay up until 6 p.m. without any money? Hey, George, where are you going?
Well, I have to talk to those people. Come on.
Hey, I want to find out what's going on.
Please, folks, just a minute.
How about our money, George? Where's our money?
Wait a minute. You're thinking about this place all wrong. Your money's not here.
What are you talking about?
Your money's in other people's houses, in your house, and 100 others. Well, what are you going to do? Foreclose on them?
I got $240 in shares. Let me have it.
Well, all right, okay, Charlie. You'll get your money in 60 days.
60 days?
Well, that's what you agreed to when you bought your shares.
My parents got their money.
Yeah, then where are we going to get our money?
My father's taking over the bank. He'll pay you 50 cents on every dollar.
Well, then let's take our shares to Potter then.
Now, wait. Now, listen to me. I'm begging you not to do this. Now, if Potter gets a hold of your shares, he'll own this building and loan. Well, he's got the bank, he's got the bus line, he's got the department stores, and now he's after us because he wants you living in his shacks and his slums and paying the kind of rent he decides. Well, now we can get through this thing, all right? We just have to stick together. We've got to have faith in each other.
My husband's out of work. We need money.
And there's doctor bills to pay.
I can't feed my kids on faith.
Mary!
Here it is, George. You told me to hold on to it. It would have made a nice honeymoon. Bought furniture, too.
Mary. Well, now, folks, listen. I've got $2,000. All right, Charlie, how much do you need?
$240.
Well, how much you just tied you over?
I said $240.
Okay, Uncle Billy, give Charlie $240. Now that's a loan. Now, Ed, how much can you get by on?
Well, $20, I suppose.
Well, now you're talking. Mrs. Thompson, how about you?
$20 will do me too.
$20, Uncle Billy. Now pay it back when you can. All right, who's next?
Could I have $17.50?
$17.50. Well, bless your heart.
Look at the clock, George. Look.
Oh, 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. It's 6 o'clock. We made it. Lock the doors, Eustace. Quick. We're still in business, Uncle Billy. And we've even got $2 left.
George, there's a call for you.
Okay, well, then call my wife, will you? She's probably at my mother's.
Mrs. Bailey is on the line.
Well, I don't want to talk to Mrs. Bailey. I want my wife. Will you? Oh, Mrs. Bailey. Well, that is my wife. Well, here, give me that phone. Oh, Mary. Listen, dear. I'm sorry. Well, come home? Oh, what home? 323 Sycamore? Well, whose home is that? What? Oh, but Mary, well, sure I will. I'll be right there.
Clarence, guess what 323 Sycamore was?
His mother-in-law's house, huh?
323 Sycamore was the old Granville house, the one they threw rocks at and made wishes. That's where they spent their honeymoon and where they started housekeeping. They were still living there 2 years later when old man Potter asked George to stop over at his office.
Sit down, George. Sit down. Have a cigar?
Well, thank you, sir.
Now, George, you're a young man, married, making, say, $40 a week at the building and loan.
45.
Well, 45. Now, if you were some ordinary yokel, I'd say you were doing fine. But George Bailey's intelligent, ambitious. He hates the building and loan almost as much as I do. He's been dying to get out of town ever since he was born. But he's trapped. Trapped into frittering his life away and playing nursemaid to a lot of garlic eaters. Do I paint a correct picture of George, or do I exaggerate?
Now, what's your point, Mr. Potter?
George, I'm an old man, and most people hate me. But I don't like them either, so that makes us even. But George, you're the only man in town that's licked me. So I want to hire you. Manage my affairs. I'll start you off at, say, $20,000 a year.
$20,000 a year? Are you sure you're talking to me? I'm George Bailey, building and loan, remember?
Yes, George Bailey, whose ship has just come in, provided he has the sense to climb aboard.
Oh, well, what about the building and loan?
Oh, confound it, man! I'll offer you a 3-year contract at $20,000 a year. Now, is it a deal or isn't it?
Well, Mr. Potter, well, could I have 24 hours to think it over?
Oh, sure. In the meantime, I'll draw up the papers.
No, doggone it. If you offered me $1 million, the answer would still be no. Well, you sit around here and you spin your little webs and think the whole world revolves around you and your money. Well, it doesn't, Mr. Potter. In the whole vast configuration of things, I'd say you were nothing but a scurvy spider.
So George went home where he found Mary just waking from a nap.
Oh, George. George, what did Mr. Potter want?
Oh, nothing, honey, nothing. Yeah, Mary, why in the world you marry a guy like me?
To keep from being an old maid.
And I was going to see the world. I was going to build things. I was going to lasso the moon for you. And what have I given you? I feel awful.
So do I. Mornings especially.
Well, you could have married Sam Wainwright or anybody else in town.
I didn't want to marry anybody else. I want my baby to look like you.
You know, you didn't even have a honeymoon. After I promised you that, you're what?
My baby?
You mean, Mary, you're on the nest?
George Bailey, lasso stork.
Mary had her baby, Clarence, a boy.
Don't say.
Then she had another one, a girl.
Well, what do you know?
And night after night, George come home late from the office. Things weren't good with the building and loan. Potter was really bearing down on him. Then came the war. Mary had another baby by then. but she still had time to help out in the USO. Uncle Billy sold war bonds, and George's brother Harry became a real war hero. Shot down 15 planes.
But George, what about George?
George was 4F, his bad ear. He was an air raid warden. On VE Day, he wept and prayed, and on VJ Day, he wept and prayed again.
We're getting pretty close to today, aren't we, sir?
Yes, Clarence. You know almost everything you need to know about George Bailey, except what happened that finds him down there at this moment wanting to die.
Well, sir, well?
Today's the day before Christmas, Earth time. George is pretty excited.
Hey, Tilly, Eustace, oh, just look at this newspaper. Commander Harry Bailey, decorated by President. Well, that's my kid brother, Congressional Medal of Honor.
Gosh, George, gosh.
15 Jap planes. You know, the last one he got was just about to dive into a transport loaded with soldiers. You know what that means? He saved lives. Hundreds of lives. Well, say, where's Uncle Billy?
Go to the bank, George. He's depositing that $8,000.
Well, who's in my office?
Lyle at Bick. And the bank examiner's waiting to see you.
Oh, well, tell him to wait a minute, Tilly. Well, how can I help you, Violet? I hear you're moving to New York City.
George,
What is it, Vi? Are you broke? Well, I can give you some money.
George, don't. You've got a family to take care of.
It's all right. Take it. Well, what do you want to do? Hawk your furs and that hat?
If I had any character, I'd...
Well, it takes a lot of character to leave your hometown and start all over again.
Thank you, George.
Well, it's a loan. That's my business. Building a loan. Well, you'll pay it back. I'm sure you'll get a job.
I'm glad I know you, George Bailey.
Tilly, tell the bank examiner as soon as Billy gets back, we'll show him the deposit slip from that $8,000.
Does anyone know where he had a bank slip?
Well, well, well. Mr. Henry F. Potter, come to the bank to deposit more loot. Hey.
Oh, you old fool.
How do you like the news in the paper, Mr. Potter? You just can't keep those Bailey boys down, now can you?
Let me see that newspaper.
Here. Sorry I can't chat, you old thief. I've got to make a deposit. Here you are, Hortense. Deposit slip, bank book, and a very Merry Christmas to you.
To Mr. Bailey. Say, you've forgotten something, haven't you?
Hortense, I've forgotten things all my life. Come on, look sharp.
But Mr. Bailey, where's the money?
The what?
Well, it's customary to bring the money with you.
It's gone. Where did I put it? Where did I put that money?
A terrible thing, Clarence. Terrible. Uncle Billy couldn't find the money because the envelope with the $8,000 was folded up in the newspaper he gave to old man Pop.
I just don't know what happened to it, George. I just don't know.
$8,000? Uncle Billy, the bank examiner is here. It's not our money. It belongs to the depositors.
What are we going to do, George? We've traced every step I took.
Are you sure you put the envelope in your coat pocket?
Yes, I think so. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. I'm no good to you, George. I'm just no good.
Listen to me. Think, will you? Try and think.
I can't think anymore, George. It hurts. It hurts.
Where's the money? You stupid, silly old fool. Do you know what this means? It means bankruptcy and scandal and prison. Well, one of us is going to jail. Well, it's not going to be me. Now get out of my way. I'm going home.
George, dear, what's wrong? You haven't said a word since coming home.
That banging on the piano. Does she have to keep playing that same piece over and over?
I had to practice for the Christmas party, Daddy. Mom says we can stay all night and sing carols. Can you sing, Daddy?
Better hurry and shave. The families will be here soon.
Oh, families? I don't want any families here.
Excuse me, Daddy?
What is it, dear? Another hectic day?
Yeah, another red letter day for the Baileys.
Daddy, the Murphys got a brand new car. Hey, you should see it.
Well, what's the matter with our car? Isn't it good enough for you?
I'm sorry, Dad. I only...
Excuse me!
Excuse you for what?
I burped.
Run upstairs, Petey. See if Zuzu's okay.
Okay, Mom.
Oh, what do you mean see if Zuzu's okay?
Oh, she caught a little cold coming home from school. She didn't button up her coat. Her teacher gave her a flower for a prize, and she didn't want to crush it.
Well, is it a sore throat or what?
George, the doctor said it was nothing serious.
The doctor? What, was the doctor here?
Well, I thought you'd better look at it.
It's the strappy old house. I don't know why we don't all have pneumonia. Might as well be living in a refrigerator. Why do we have to live here in the first place and stay in this measly, crummy old town?
George, what's happened?
Well, everything's happened. Do you call this a happy family? Why do we have to have all these kids?
Daddy, how do you spell frankincense?
Well, I don't know. Ask your mother.
Where are you going?
Upstairs to see Zuzu.
Hello? Oh, thank you, Mrs. Welsh. I'm sure she'll be all right.
Who's that?
Zuzu's teacher. What?
Did the doctor say anything?
Oh, yes. The doctor said she'll be fine.
Here, give me that phone.
George, please.
Mrs. Welsh? Well, this is Mr. Bailey. Say, what kind of teacher are you anyway? Oh, what do you mean sending Zuzu home with, like that, half naked? Do you realize you'll probably end up with pneumonia because of your stupidity? Oh, well, maybe my kids aren't the best dressed in town, but at least they're not... Hello? Hello? Why, that's stupid.
Did she hang up?
I'll hang up on her.
Dad, how do you spell hallelujah?
Well, how should I know? What do you think I am, a dictionary? Jenny, will you stop playing that music? Stop it! Stop it!
George, for heaven's sake, what's wrong with you? Why must you torture the children?
Oh, Daddy.
George, why don't you just calm down?
I'm sorry. Mary, kids, I'm sorry. I just have to get out of here.
Is Daddy in trouble, Mommy?
Yes, Pete.
Shall I pray for him?
Yes, Janie. Pray very hard.
So, that's it, George. You're short $8,000 in your accounts.
Please, Mr. Potter, I seem to have misplaced it. I'll pay any sort of bonus, and if you still want the building and loan,
You misplaced it. Well, have you notified the police?
Well, no, sir, I haven't done that yet. Well, Harry's coming home tomorrow, and...
What have you been doing, George? What is it? Is it a woman? You know it's all over town that you've been giving money to Violet Bick.
What?
Why come to me? What about your good friend Sam Wainwright?
Well, I can't get a hold of him. He's in Europe.
What kind of security would I have, George? What collateral?
Well, I have some life insurance. Well, here, $15,000 policy.
Oh, and what's your equity in it?
$500.
And you want $8,000? Look at you. You used to be so cocky. You once called me a warped, frustrated old man. Well, what are you but a warped, frustrated young man? Crawling on your knees for help. Why don't you go to that riffraff you love so much and ask them? You know why? They'd run you out of town on a rail.
Well, I'll do anything, Mr. Potter. Please help me. My wife, my kids.
I'll tell you what I'm going to do for you, George. I'm calling the district attorney. As the stockholder for the building and loan, I'm going to swear out a warrant for your arrest. Misappropriation of funds, malfeasance, manipulation. Go on, George, run, run. You can't hide in a little town like this. $500 equity. Why, you're worth more dead than alive.
And all that time, Potter had the $8,000 in his desk drawer. It's still there, Clarence.
But where's George, sir? Where?
Well, he went over to Martini's Cafe.
Okay.
He's had a couple of drinks. He's just standing there, sort of in a daze.
God, dear Father in heaven, I'm not a praying man, but if you're up there and you can hear me, show me the way. I'm at the end of my rope. Show me the way, God.
Mr. Bailey, you okay? You don't drink anymore, Mr. Bailey. Please, you don't look so good.
Bailey? Did you say Bailey? Which Bailey?
This gentleman is Mr. Bailey, Mr. George Bailey.
George Bailey, huh? And the next time you talk like that to my wife, you'll get worse. She cried for an hour. It isn't enough she's slaves teaching your stupid kids how to read and write. You're gonna bawl her out?
You get out of here, Mr. Welch. You hit my best friend. Now get out.
All right.
Mr. Bailey, you okay?
Who was that?
Oh, Mr. Welch, don't worry. He don't come back to this place no more. I'll get something for your face. It's bleeding.
Oh, I'm all right.
Please, don't go away. Please, Mr. Bailey.
George left Martini's Cafe minutes ago, Clarence. He's at the river now, on the bridge, looking at the water. Are you ready, Clarence?
All ready, sir.
Very well. Save George Bailey's life, and you'll get your wings.
My wings! Thank you, Joseph! George! George! George Bailey! Get away from that bridge! You hear me? George! George!
It is now almost time for intermission. We know for some of you that means you will be going out to the front stoop to enjoy a fine cigarette. Before you go, we would like to tell you how much cooler you would look with a Chesterfield in your hand. Why Chesterfield, you ask? To sell a product, you have to make it good and keep it good. What do the latest reports show about Chesterfield? Well, our research laboratory has compared it with the leading cigarettes in the country. Here is what a famous scientist working at Chesterfield's has to say about Chesterfield.
Why, Chesterfield is best for me and best for you. People these days want facts. When you want people to use your product, you have to tell them what effect it has on people who use it regularly. That's why I examined for almost 2 years a large group of Chesterfield smokers. 45% of them have, on the average, been smoking Chesterfield for well over 10 years. Here's the question. What effect on these people will they have from smoking Chesterfields? No adverse detection to the nose, throat, or sinuses.
Those are amazing results. Well, thank you. Why, here comes a lovely young buxom blonde walking down the street right now. And what do I see in her hand? Why, it's a Chesterfield. Let me ask her what she thinks about the amazing taste of Chesterfield. Excuse me, miss. I am curious if you can tell us about why Chesterfield is your choice of cigarette.
I chose Chesterfield's because of its mild flavor. It makes me feel like a famous, beautiful actress, like Jean Harlow or Betty Davis, or even Orson Welles.
I see. I heard from a doctor that there are no adverse effects to nose, throat, and sinuses, but I find it is always better to ask a total stranger on the street about their experience. Have you felt any adverse effects?
No! I have not felt any adverse effects. I feel as healthy as I ever have. My skin is as smooth as an 18-year-old schoolgirl. They are low in nicotine. Another good reason why thousands of people are changing to Chesterfield every day. Smoke America's most popular two-way cigarette. Regular or king size. You'll find Chesterfield really mild, really satisfying. Best for you.
We pause now for station identification.
This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Thank you. And now we will allow this fine audience to go and enjoy their Chesterfield. We'll see you back in 15 minutes, and we're off the air. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the moment we warned you about. Time to sing again. So if you want to get, for those of you unfamiliar with certain Christmas carols, if you want to get the lyrics out of your program, this is the time to do so. We're going to start with White Christmas. White Christmas is an Irving Berlin song reminiscing about an old-fashioned Christmas setting. Accounts vary as to when and where Berlin wrote the song. One story is that he wrote it in 1940 in warm La Quinta, California, a frequent Hollywood retreat, also favored by writer-director-producer Frank Capra. Berlin often stayed up all night writing, and in reference to this song, told his secretary, "Grab your pen and take down this song. I just wrote the best song I've ever written. Heck, I just wrote the best song that anybody's ever written." Let's see if he's right.
just like the ones I used to know, where the treetops glisten and children listen to hear sleigh bells in the snow. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas with every Christmas card I write. May your days be merry and bright, and may all your Christmases be white.
I hear some good voice. Of course, I hear Susan Boudreau's voice. I hope she's here every night for the sing-along. Very well done. Our next song is Santa Claus is Coming to Town. Santa Claus is Coming to Town was written by John Frederick Coots and Haven Gillespie and was first sung on Eddie Cantor's radio show in November 1934. It became an instant hit with orders for 100,000 copies of sheet music and more than 30,000 records sold within 24 hours. So let's sing this children's favorite.
Better watch out, you better not cry, you better not pout, I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town. He's making a list and checking it twice, gonna find out who's naughty or nice. Santa Claus is coming to town. He sees you when you're sleeping, he knows when you're awake. He knows if you've been bad or good, so be good for Christmas' sake. Oh, you better watch out, you better not cry, you better not pout, I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town.
Don't we all feel like kids after that? There's nothing wrong with that. Very well done. And finally, It's Beginning to Look a Lot Like Christmas, which was written in by Meredith Wilson. Okay, Susan caught that one. Yes, it was written in 1951, a little after the time period of this show, but we love this song and wanted to include it, so let's enjoy our final song for the evening. It's Beginning to Look a Lot Like Christmas.
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas everywhere you go. Take a look at the 5 and 10, you're listening once again, with candy canes and silver lanes aglow. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas, toys in every store. But the prettiest sight to see is the holly that will be on your own front door.
A pair of hop-along boots and a pistol that chooses the wish of Barney and Ben. Dolls that will talk and will go for a walk is the hopes of Janice and Jen. And Mom and Dad can hardly wait for school to start again. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas everywhere you go. There's a tree in the Grand Hotel, one in the park as well, the sturdy kind that doesn't mind the snow. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Soon the bells will start, and the thing that will make them ring is the carol that you sing right within your heart. Did everybody get hop-along boots and a pistol that shoots in them? Pretty well done. Very well done. Give yourself an applause. You deserve it. Thank you. And we're ready to get back on the air. Actors? In just a moment, we'll bring you Act 2 of It's a Wonderful Life. The popular theory about beautiful women is that they are content merely to be decorative. Our lovely guest tonight, Miss Susan Blanchard, completely disproves that idea. Besides being a hard-working Fox starlet, Susan, I understand you're a wonderful cook.
I really love housekeeping, Mr. Keeley. But most of all, I enjoy the training I get at the studio. It's work, but it's fun too.
You're an Easterner, aren't you, Susan?
Yes, a native New Yorker.
I thought so.
You know, it was the Broadway theater that inspired me to think of show business as a career.
Oh, that's interesting.
I used to save my allowance and go to every play I could. One of my favorite actresses was Jane Wyatt. Imagine, Mr. Keeley, what a thrill it was for me to actually meet her right here in Hollywood.
Oh, I see.
Jane Wyatt is my ideal of a stage and screen star. So talented and so lovely to look at. Just as lovely in real life, too.
Yes, indeed.
And it wasn't long before I discovered that she's as keen about Lux toilet soap for beauty care as I am. You know, I'm a Lux girl, too.
We're glad to hear you say that, Miss Blanchard, because that's a very beautiful Lux complexion I see before me.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Keeley. Any girl in pictures is delighted to find out about Lux toilet soap as a beauty care. Active lather facials are so quick and easy, and they really make a difference in your skin.
Thousands of busy, attractive women have discovered that, Miss Blanchard. Lux soap complexion care does make skin lovelier. Otherwise, it wouldn't be the choice of 9 out of 10 screen stars.
Lux toilet soap is all-around beauty care for me. I use it as a bath soap, too. It has such delightful perfume and leaves a lovely fragrance on the skin.
Thank you, Miss Susan Blanchard. I hope our audience will be seeing that lovely Lux complexion in a screen close-up one of these days. Now, back to Act 2 of It's a Wonderful Life. Numb with despair, convinced, as Mr. Potter said, that he's worth more dead than alive, George Bailey stands on a bridge, staring at the dark and frigid waters below. Suddenly, there's a splash!
Help! I'm drowning! Help! Help!
No, that's not George. It's Clarence, the apprentice angel. And there goes George, in after him! It's a few minutes later in the bridge-keeper's shack, and George and Clarence are drying off.
You both sure you're all right? You want a doctor?
No, I'm all right.
Oh, I'm fine. Oh, this underwear. My wife gave it to me for my last birthday. I passed away in it.
You what, mister?
Oh, I see Tom Sawyer's drying out too.
Who?
My book. I left in such a hurry, I brought Tom Sawyer with me.
Now, how'd you happen to fall in?
Oh, I jumped in to save you.
You jumped in to save me.
Mm-hmm. Well, I did, didn't I? You didn't go through with it now, did you?
Go through with what?
Suicide.
Hey, it's against the law to commit suicide around here.
Well, it's against the law where I come from, too.
Huh? Where do you come from?
Heaven.
Very funny. Very funny.
Your lips bleeding.
Yeah, I got it. I got it busted in the jaw on the answer to a prayer.
Oh, no, George. I was the answer to your prayer.
Well, how do you know my name?
Oh, I know all about you.
Well, and who are you supposed to be anyway?
Clarence Oddbody. AS2.
AS2? What's AS2?
Angel, second class.
Hey, I'm getting out of here. You may not need a doctor, but I do.
Cheerio, my good man.
Now look here. Why do you want to save me?
Well, because I'm your guardian angel, George.
Oh, I see. Well, you're like the kind of angel I get. Sort of a fallen angel, aren't you? Well, what happened to your wings?
Oh, I haven't won my wings yet. That's why I'm an angel second class. But you can help me earn them, George, by letting me help you.
Well, you don't happen to have $8,000 on you, do you?
Oh, no. We don't use money in heaven.
Oh, that's right. I keep forgetting. Well, it comes in pretty handy down here, bub.
Oh, tut.
You know, I found it out a little late. I'm worth more dead than alive.
Oh, you mustn't talk like that. Joseph will never give me my wings if you keep feeling that way. You just don't realize what you've done for people.
Well, if it hadn't been for me, you know, everybody'd be better off. My wife, my kids, my friends.
Oh, this isn't going to be easy.
They'd all be better off if I'd never been born.
What'd you say?
I said I wish I'd never been born.
George, that's wonderful.
Well, what's wonderful?
The idea you just gave me. Well, you got your wish. You've never been born.
I've never been born.
Exactly. No worries. No $8,000 to get. Nothing. You simply don't have a care in the world.
Okay, all right.
George, I can do things. Strange things. I can show you the world, George. The way it'd be like if you hadn't been born.
Well, wait a minute. This ear of mine. Well, say something in my bad ear.
You don't have a bad ear anymore. Oh, I don't think you're concentrating. Don't you see? You're not the George Bailey you think you are. You're nobody.
Well, that's the doggonest thing. My ear. It's...
Your lips stop bleeding too.
What? Well, what's happening around here? What is this anyway? What I need is a drink. What about you, Angel? You want a drink?
Well, I don't quite know if I...
Well, we'll go as soon as our clothes are dry.
Clothes are dry, George.
So they are. Well, funny. Well, let's get dressed and stroll over to Martini's and... Oh, I'll stroll. You'll fly.
No. I don't have my wings.
Well, that's right. I forgot. You don't have your wings. That's right. Well, a couple of drinks and we'll both fly.
What do you fellas have?
Oh, wait a martini.
You want a martini?
No, the boss, martini.
Look, wise guy, I'm the boss, see?
Well, okay, double scotch, quick.
What's yours?
I was thinking of a flaming rum punch. Oh, no, it's not cold enough for that. Not nearly cold enough.
Huh? Make up your mind.
Yes, wait, I've got it. Mulled wine. Heavy on the cinnamon and light on the cloves. Now off with you, me lad, and lively now.
Look, mister, we serve hard drinks for men who want to get drunk fast. And we don't need any characters around to give the joint atmosphere. Is that clear? Or do I slip you my left for a convincing?
Well, you just give him what I ordered. He's okay.
2 double scotches.
You know, this place, it's all changed.
All of Bedford Falls has changed. You're having your wish, George. You've never been born. Although there'll be lots of things that you've never seen before. Oh, good, someone's just made it.
Made what?
Well, every time a bell rings, it means some angels got their wings.
What you say?
I don't think you better talk about angels around here, Clarence.
Don't they believe in angels?
Yeah, well, but, yeah, you know...
Then why shouldn't people be surprised when they see me?
Well, don't mind him, Nick. He's just a little fella. He never grew up. How old are you anyway, Clarence?
293, next May.
That does it. Out you 2 pixies go. Through the door or out the window.
Well, Nick, wait, he's okay.
And that's another thing. Where do you get off calling me Nick? I don't know you from Adam's off ox. Hey, you rummy! Didn't I tell you to never come panhandling around here?
George, look!
It's Mr. Gower. Oh, Mr. Gower. Listen, don't you know me? I'm George Bailey.
You? You buy me a drink, mister? Come on, mister, just one drink, will you?
Hey, Finky.
Yeah, Nick.
Throw the rummy out.
Oh, no, please, don't!
Nick, that's Mr. Gower, the druggist.
That rumhead spent 20 years in jail for poisoning some kid. If you know him, that means you're a jailbird yourself. Finky, here's 2 more. Get him out of here. Get me, I'm giving out wings.
Well, get out, George. Good thing he threw us in a snowbank, huh?
Where's Mr. Gower?
Mr. Gower doesn't know you, George. You see, you weren't there to stop him from putting poison into that prescription.
Well, what do you mean I wasn't there? Look, are you a hypnotist?
George.
Why am I seeing all these strange things?
Don't you understand? Because you weren't born.
Well, if I wasn't born, who am I?
Nobody. You have no identity.
What do you mean I have no identity?
No papers. No driver's license. No 4F card. No insurance policy.
Susan's bell.
What?
Well, Susan's bell. I bought my little girl a bell to hang on the Christmas tree. I forgot to give it to her. Oh, it's gone too. Well, everything's gone.
But you've been given a great gift, George. A chance to see what the world would be like if you hadn't been born.
Well, you're crazy. You're crazy as a bedbug. And you're driving me crazy, too. Well, I'm going home to see my wife and family. You understand that? I'm going home.
Better not leave him alone, Clarence. Keep following him.
Oh, Joseph! Oh, I'll stay near him, sir. Poor George, he's seeing Main Street now, the way it'd be if he hadn't lived. The thing that's really shocked him is the building and loan office. It's a pawn shop. And Violet Bick.
Get your hands off me, you lousy compass!
Oh, wait, I know that girl.
I know everybody, honey, but I've never seen you before. You'd look a lot more familiar to me if you met me at the police station and paid my bail.
You're taking her away, sir.
What's George doing now? Can you see him?
Oh, I think he's talking to Ernie Bishop, the taxi driver. He wants to go home.
Better tag along, Clarence.
Oh, I will, sir, I will.
Oh, step on it, Ernie. Get me home, I'm off my nut.
Where do you live, sir?
Doggone it, Ernie, don't start pulling that stuff. 323 Sycamore.
323 Sycamore?
And hurry up, Suzu's sick.
Okay, buddy.
Now, look here, Ernie, straighten me out. I've had some bad liquor or something. Well, you're Ernie Bishop, right? And you live with your wife and kids?
You seen my wife?
What do you mean, seen your wife? I've been to your home 100 times. Didn't we build it for you? In Bailey Park.
Look, bud, I live in a shack in Potter's Field. My wife took the kid and ran away 5 years ago. And I ain't seen you before in my life, see?
Okay, Ernie. Just step on it. Get me home.
Is this it? This house ain't been lived in for 20 years.
Mary, where are you? Janie, Petey, Suzu, where are you?
This is just an old abandoned house, George. You had no wife, no children.
Where are they? What have you done with them?
Oh, that's him, Bert. See, I told you.
All right, up with your hands.
Bert, it's Bert the cop. Oh, thank heaven you're here.
Now look, why don't you be a good fella and I'll take you to a doctor.
But now listen to me. It's this fella here. He says he's an angel. He's trying to hypnotize me.
I hate to use my nightstick, but Ow!
Run, George, run! He can't hit you, Arlen. I'm fighting him. George, run! My teeth aren't what they used to be. Joseph, help! Joseph!
Where'd they go, Ernie? Where'd they go?
I don't know. They just disappeared.
Clarence!
Oh, Joseph! Oh, I hope you don't mind my calling on you like I did.
It was very irregular, Clarence. You're by yourself again. Where's George?
He's at his mother's house, sir. It's a rundown old boarding house.
Well, what do you want?
Mother, it's George. I thought sure you'd remember me.
Mother? George who? Well, if you're looking for a room, there's no vacancy.
Oh, Mother, please help me. Something terrible's happened to me. I don't know what it is. Something terrible's happened to everyone. Please let me come in. Keep me here until I get over it.
Get over what? I don't take in strangers unless they're sent here by someone I know.
Well, I know everyone you know. Your brother-in-law, Uncle Billy.
When did you see him last?
Well, today, over at his house.
That's a lie. He's been in the insane asylum ever since he lost his business. And if you ask me, that's where you belong.
Strange, isn't it? Each man's life touches so many other lives.
I heard of things like this. Well, you've got me under some kind of spell. Well, I'll get out of it.
Look over there, George.
Well, that should be Bailey Park, where we built all those houses.
It's a cemetery, George. Come, look at this headstone.
Well, what is this? Harry Bailey, beloved only son, 1910 to 1919?
Your brother fell through the ice and was drowned at the age of 9.
Well, that's a lie. He got the Congressional Medal of Honor. He saved the lives of every man on that transport.
Every man on that transport died. Harry wasn't there to save them because you weren't there to save Harry. Don't you see, George? You really had a wonderful life. Don't you see what a waste it would be to just throw it all away?
Clarence?
Yes, George?
Where's Mary? Where's my wife?
I'm not supposed to tell.
Well, tell me where she is.
You're not going to like it, George.
Well, where is she? I'll choke it out of you if I have to.
She's an old maid. She never married.
Where's my wife?
At the library. She works there. She's just about to lock up for the night, so... George! George, come back! Oh, there must be some easier way for me to earn my wings.
Mary! Mary!
I'm sorry, the library's closed.
Mary, it's George. Don't you know me?
No. I don't know you. Let me go!
Mary, please, don't do this to me. Please, Mary, please help me. Where are her kids? I need you, Mary, please.
Get away from me! Help! Help!
Mary, you're my wife. I'm George. I'm George, Mary.
Joseph! Oh, where is he, Joseph? Where's George? I'm afraid I've lost him, sir.
You knew you shouldn't have let him try to see Mary. Now they're after him. Oh, Mom, they think he was trying to hurt her.
Joseph, I won't even get one way, will I?
You've one more chance, Clarence. Get over to the bridge by the river. I think George has seen just about enough.
But the mob!
Don't worry. They've lost him too. Now hurry!
Oh, thank you, Joseph, thank you!
Clarence! Clarence, where are you?
I'm here, George.
Help me, Clarence. Get me back. I don't care what happens to me. Oh, get me back to my wife and kids. Please. Please, I want to live again.
Thank you, George. Thank you, my boy.
I want to live again. Please, God. Please let me live again.
George! Is that you down there, George?
Now get out of here, Bert. Come any closer, I'll let you have it.
What the Sam Hill are you yelling for, George?
George! Bert, do you know me?
I know you. I've been looking all over town for you. Where have you been?
Hey, Bert, I'm alive again, Bert.
Are you sure you're all right? Hey, your mouth's bleeding.
My mouth's bleeding? Oh, Bert, well, look at that blood come out of here. And Zuzu's Christmas bell. Bert, it's here. It's in my pocket. Well, what do you know about that? Well, Merry Christmas, Bert.
Well, Merry Christmas, George. Get in the car. I'll drive you home.
Will you, Bert? Will you? And turn the siren wide open. Merry Christmas, Bedford Falls. Merry Christmas, building and loan. Oh, Merry Christmas, Mr. Potter.
Oh, Happy New Year to you! In jail! Go on home! They're waiting for you.
Come on in with me, Bert. Come in. These people. Reporters. Well, Merry Christmas, reporters. Well, hey, Mr. Bank Examiner. Merry Christmas.
Oh, Mr. Bailey, there appears to be a rather large deficit.
I know. $8,000.
Well, I've got a little paper here. I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to
I'll bet
use
it's
it.
a warrant for my arrest. Well, isn't it wonderful? Merry Christmas. Well, where's Mary? Oh, and look at this wonderful, drafty old house. Well, where's Mary? Have you seen my wife?
Merry Christmas, Daddy.
Kids, kids. Janie, Pete, I could eat you up. Oh, where's your mother?
She went looking for you, Daddy, with Uncle Billy.
Daddy!
Suzu, my little ginger snap. Well, how do you feel?
Fine, Daddy, not a sniff of temperature.
Not a sneeze. Well, hallelujah.
George! Oh, George, darling.
Mary.
Mommy.
Mary.
Mommy's home.
Oh, George, where have you been? Oh, George.
Well, let me touch you. Are you real? Mary, you have no idea what's happened to me.
You have no idea what's happened either. They're on their way here.
Well, who? Oh, who's on their way? The police? Well, I don't care. The National Guard, the FBI? Well, listen, Mary, I'm alive again. I'm alive.
Oh, yes, darling, yes. Now, close your eyes and come downstairs.
What's all this? Well, can I open my eyes yet? Mary, what's going on?
It's a miracle, George, a miracle. Come, stand over here by the Christmas tree.
I hear people. Lots of people.
You're all ready. Uncle Billy, come on in, everybody.
George, look, just look.
Uncle Billy.
Money, George. The laundry basket filled with money. Mary did it, George. Mary did it.
Well, I don't understand. Money? What?
People heard you were in trouble, darling. These people, your friends. They've collected the $8,000 for you.
Charlie.
None of us would have a roof over our heads if it wasn't for you, George.
Mr. Gower, how are you?
I made the rounds on all of my charge accounts.
And Violet Bibb.
I changed my mind, George. I'm not gonna go.
Martini.
I broke the jukebox too. Hey, just a minute, everybody. Quiet. This telegram's from London. Mr. Gower cables you need cash. Stop. My office instructed to advance you $25,000. Stop. Hee-haw and Merry Christmas, Sam Wainwright.
Oh my goodness, look everyone, it's Mother and Harry.
The fool flew all the way up here in a blizzard.
Got here as fast as I could, George.
Hey, everybody, how about the toast?
Good idea, Bert. A toast to my big brother George, the richest man in town.
Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind?
Daddy, my Christmas bell you didn't forget.
Forget? Oh honey, here's your bell.
Daddy! Darling, what's this on the table here? This book.
The Adventures of Tom Sawyer.
Look, George, there's something written in it.
Dear George, remember, no man is a failure who has friends. Thanks for the wings. Love, Clarence.
Clarence?
Yeah, he's a very dear friend of mine.
Daddy, Mrs. Welch says every time a bell rings, an angel gets his wings.
Well, that's right, Susu. That's right. Attaboy, Clarence.
Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? Should old acquaintance be forgot and days of old lang syne?
We hope you enjoyed this very special presentation of It's a Wonderful Life, brought to you by Lux Soap.
Use it faithfully as I do, and you too can have an LLC. Lovely Lux complexion. And here's a sure way to save on your meat and grocery bills. Turn in used kitchen fats to your butcher and receive a generous price for every pound. The worldwide supply of fats is still desperately short, and every drop you save helps in the making of soap, refrigerators, and other needed items. So save and turn in your used kitchen fats.
This program is broadcast to our men and women overseas through cooperation with the Armed Forces Radio Service. And this is your announcer, William Keeley, wishing you all a safe and happy holiday. Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas! We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Good tidings to you and all of your kin. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Thank you all. Come on up. Meet the cast.